Good evening, and welcome you to another edition of Speak Your Mind Show. We're planning to have an exciting show here with you tonight. We're here as usual, dialoguing with the people of the Virgin Islands and bringing things to the forefront that may not be in the forefront as we speak. We're here to communicate with the community. We listen to the community, and we also respond to the community. We're here, myself, and Sam is right here as well. And in a couple of minutes, I'll give him a chance to introduce himself. Some of the topics we're looking to look at tonight, we're going to look at the proposals that we're hearing about for the airport. It started out as an airlift, but now we're seeing a number of developments. We're going to talk about the ongoing road traffic situation. We're going to touch on a couple of other issues as well, but we're going to definitely have a dialogue with the people of these Virgin Islands, from Anegada to Joshua Van Dyke, including Virgin Gorda. When I say Anegada to Joshua Van Dyke, I don't mean to leave out any of the other islands, but Anegada being the furthest to the north and Joshua Van Dyke being the furthest to the west. So Sam, I think I would give you a chance now to bring yourself on board, introduce yourself, and I know we're going to have a wonderful show tonight.
Yeah. Good evening to the viewing audience. Welcome back again to another Speak Your Mind session. I know there's a lot of things that are burning people out there, so we want to encourage you. The phone lines are open. You don't have to wait. Courtney just laid out a few topics that, so a few teasers to give you an opportunity to digest those things. But I know there's a few things that are burning people up right now that they really want to talk about. People are concerned. The Ministry for Communication and Work just said that the policy stands with the driver's license and work permit tied in. I got to tell you right off the bat, I think it's a good move, and I can explain that. I know I personally think that there should be a grace period, giving people time before their work permit expire, or and also after it needs to be renewed. So I can explain that. I think it's a good move on the ministry's part. I firmly believe that I understood what the last minister was trying to do, what he was trying to implement. We have to do something. The country is being overburdened with a lot of folks who are just sitting around on work permit, and so we have to address those things, and it's a good move to address those things. But I think they're going to try to find a way where we can deal with the situation without displacing any families or anything like that. So call and tell us about that situation. Tell us how you feel about the minister bringing forward and basically supporting the overall policy, as they say. Also, we want to touch a little, again, a lot of people are burning up about the whole airport expansion thing. I just got news just today again that we have to do something because American Eagle is getting ready to phase out all of their super ATRs. So we could be left without any possibility of having real airlift into this country. In addition to enhancing the ones that we already have by giving support to the local suppliers, I think that's something that needs to be examined. We also need to diversify and give others an opportunity to supply our market. So again, the phone lines are open. You don't have to wait. It's going to be a short but sweet show. So call us. I know you guys been waiting. Folks been telling me, they can't wait till Saturday to call us and let us know how they feel about the situation. So call us now and let us know how you feel. Courtney, welcome back.
On that note too, Sam, I'd like to say, thank you to the people who meet me on a regular basis and tell me that they appreciate the show, and that when I wasn't here, you were really doing a great job. So I have to say, we have to thank the people out there for that kind of response, because sitting here, we don't really know what's on people's mind. When they speak to us, that's when we really know what's on their mind.
Well, it's a people's show.
It is the people's show.
So we want people to be able to express themselves.
We're only the facilitators.
Yeah.
I want to read a text that just came in, though, Sam. It says, here. It says, "Good night. This show was always my favorite talk show. It now sounds like a Speak Your Mind BV Islanders only show. Mr. Maduro has his bad ways, but his shows are based on laws and constitution and people's rights, no matter where you are from. I think that's the right way. The passion that's expressed against Islanders on this show ain't good. I'm sorry that someone feels that way, but I don't think that I have sensed that on the show myself, Sam. But I mean, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But I think we try to be fair and deal with issues as they come up, regardless of where you're from.
Well, I can speak to that, Kurt.
Go right ahead.
Say, since I've been here, we've had a text before, if you remember, that said it sounded like a government bashing show.
Yeah.
And then we've also had texts that say it seems like this show is all about bashing island people or bashing BV Islanders. So that's definitely an opinion. But folks, that's not what the show's about. The last host did his job, and I think we're doing a fair job. We're trying to be balanced. If you have a problem with the system, you have a right to call this show and speak your mind. Don't be afraid to call the show. You're Texan, which means you have a voice, and that voice is not going to be shut up here. We're not going to get into constitutional stuff if we don't know the facts behind it. When we know the facts of something, we could speak to that. So if you have a specific argument or specific problem that you want to address, send us a text. We'll do the research for you, and then we'll bring you back the answer to your question. So we're not alienating anybody. This show is for everybody and anybody.
Yeah, that's good to get that out of the way and get going. Well, I'm glad that we got some response on that traffic issue that we were talking about. You know, the one with the work permit and the driver's license issue, because that was something that was coming up time and time again. Yeah. And be as it may, once the decisions are made, we have to abide by the decisions. But we'd like to know that those decisions are made, and made in a way that the public knows what is what. And I am with you on it too. I am still, waiting to hear the real reasoning behind it. I mean, I'm sure, from my point of view, I think personally it's a security issue, but it may not be a security issue. But I think it is a security issue. So I would really still like to hear if that is in fact the case. But we'll wait and we'll hear what's what with that. Some other traffic issues, though, we're still waiting on some repairs to some of the roads that we see still in a not good way. I know you're on the road probably more than me, but I see the buses dodging the potholes, and I know we're still in the tourist season. And I know that, the first impression of a country, is usually a lasting impression. So if we could do anything at all to help with those roads that the tourists, I even ain't arguing for us anymore. I arguing for the tourists now. Yeah. Well, of course we need the roads. The one that irks me the most is when people have to leave their side to dodge and go on my side, and try to run me down because they want to drive on a better part of the road, and that's really, that's not good enough. I think we should pay attention to that. And while I'm at it, I think the street lighting on intersections, I think we need to light up the intersections a little better, so that we could have a bit more visibility on the road, and it probably could prevent some of the disasters that we have.
I would be surprised if we don't get more lighting with all the security cameras we have going up.
Hey, you wouldn't be able to see what's on the light, right? Now you're right there. Yeah. We have another text. Let's see what it says. Hi guys, I want to give your show the highest respect ever, but I want to refer to one lady but I want to refer to one lady on your last show that was making a point of the way that employees are being treated in the hotel and restaurant. Well, I want to say that the yachting industry is just the same, especially the moorings they sell the company many times enslave employees, and at the end of it all, some hard-working people have to go empty hand. This is time for government to look into these matters and put it into law that once the companies sell, employees should be made redundant. Thank you. Text, not only that the employees must be made redundant, but I think we have to look at also the new pension law to make sure that the employees get that pension, because the way the pension system is set up now, if you leave one job, you can go to the other job with your pension. And it brings to mind too that government is supposed to get the fees. When you sell a company, there's a large amount of fees that the government is supposed to collect. So while they're collecting that money, they should also make sure that the employees are taken care of. I totally think that would be in order.
You know, Courtney, a few years ago in Nevis, there was a call center down there, and the company was an American company.
Okay.
And they wanted to up and leave without paying out severance pay and taking care of the employee benefit. And what the government of Nevis was able to do, they found out about what the company was trying to do, and they put a freeze on the entire asset. I always said that all system should within the labor code, should have these companies put aside money, a certain amount of money. A bond.
Yes.
And that bond can only be cashed in or redeemed after, if you decide to up and leave.
Yes.
Without paying your employees, without giving them severance pay, that bond will be recuperated if all of that was taken care of.
Right.
If you don't take care of your employees, then the government should have that authority now to cash in that bond and take care of those employees that needs to be paid.
Yeah.
You know, I think something like that needs to happen, because you remember what happened when I was at First Caribbean, they were Barclays before.
Yes.
And they, there was a big problem.
There was.
And we down at Jolly Rogers.
Yes.
People down there can't get their pay.
Yeah.
You got employees leaving a Long Bay Hotel.
Yeah.
I think government really needs to look at those type of situation and put things in place.
Yeah. And speaking of that too, I think we the people have to take more ownership of this problem and look out for your brother and your sister. And also, I think too, if some of these companies, they're also members of the Hotel and Commerce. And if you're a member of my organization and you don't have good ethics, I think the people who are in the management of those things should speak out against it.
Yeah.
Because you're either condoning it and hiding people's devious actions, or you're against it.
Well, somebody was telling me that there's going to be the government or the system is in a process of doing a draft change to the labor code.
Okay.
They address
the new one, the brand new one, the 2010 one.
Yes, they're addressing some specific issues in there.
Okay.
But I think in addition to doing that, the government should probably look at how the chamber and the government, and I think the chamber got a new board now.
Okay.
Probably going to be embarked on some of those things.
Okay.
And then within the labor code, there should be some strict policies that no matter who's in power, no matter who comes into whatever situation or position, the policies are this, and this is how you carry on the business of dealing with employees. I think employees sometimes are being mistreated. And you go to the labor department, it seems like you're getting beat up. But I think what I would like to suggest to that first texter, and the texter might have some points too, I think, Courtney, we should probably do a labor show.
Yeah.
Just bring the labor code, focus on these hot areas, get somebody that can help us interpret them properly.
Right.
And then that way the people out there could have a firm ground to go on. You understand what I'm saying? Because I think people, it seems like people are asking for that.
Yes.
According to that text. So it's probably something we could look at.
Okay. Let's look at a couple more of the texts that we have, since we have a few. I am Beaver Islander who lives abroad. That text, sir, is wrong. That show is fair. Mr. Maduro was one-sided. Sent from Oh, it's sent from, okay.
So that's somebody saying
That's
that.
somebody that's saying
Okay.
it's a different point of view.
Yeah.
To you, Mr. Sam,
Thank you.
you spend all of your years overseas. Now you're coming to TV to talk about work permit, and is the same permit workers who put money in the Social Security. Did you ever put? Okay, that's like a personal attack on you.
Yeah, but I'm going to address that. I spent my young years abroad. Since you're watching, you really want to know my business. I spent my young years abroad. I didn't have any choice in the matter, and I'm not regretting it. I've been back home now almost 12 years, and this is where I was born and raised, and I have a right. I have a right to speak out on my behalf, or anybody who feels that they're being mistreated. So, regardless of where I live, or anybody in my situation where they live, as long as they're a born BV Islander and they want to come home and be part of the process, they have that right.
Let's go to the phone. Yes, good evening. You're free speaking mind. Go right ahead, please. Sam.
My concern is, you raise a fine just now, both my concern. You take it in. And it's a thing we were discussing a few days ago, that these companies were referring to them mooring especially, because the other thing of program and fell over the last 5 months. I think these are ways we see in the government weakness, because they focus on the very small issue, and these are issues that creating a big set of problems. Really, government should be involved and defend the people, because these people come in, buy the company, make their money, then sell out and gone, and do labor with them, deal them, leave, and go on. I could remember the back being to them. I was with them there. And most of them, and I think y'all exposing the government a lot, and they need to step up. They need to step up. So much of thing was hiding under the shelf, and people suffering. And y'all doing a good job. Speak it up, speak it out. But don't let them cause badness. Don't let them cause stress out. You know what you know, you do what you do, and that's the right thing to say this one.
Thank you, Carlo. All right. Well, that's someone that's speaking in favor of what we're saying, Sam, that, business as usual has gone through the door all around the world. So it's nothing new, nothing different here, I don't think. Yeah.
Well, there's both sides. I mean, no matter what you do, there's both sides. So, some people are going to feel like you're being hard on them because of whatever the situation might be. But it is what it is, folks.
It says here, so, good night. What do you think about these expatriates that are doing forgery and stealing from our government? Do you think they need sending home? Why are they still fighting to be here? I think that the government has a policy on that that's pretty straightforward. Is Air BVI a government-owned airline or privately owned?
We don't have
because
Air BVI.
The tickets are right up there with Liat. Expensive, bad. I don't know which airline. They're probably talking about Fly BVI or one of them. No, they're not. They're not owned. They're not. It's not. I think it's a private entity.
It is.
Yeah. We're going to have to take a break now, though, ladies and gentlemen, for the sponsors that make this show possible. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to be right back.
I am Tanisha Harrigan-Scott, and I am here to bring you some exciting news from Digicel. Now you can talk more and text more for only $15. A great new price point from Digicel, the bigger, better network. Have you heard? When you top up $15 or more, you get incredible deals with Digicel. Get 100 free minutes, unlimited SMS, and free weekends for 7 days to local Digicel numbers. Top up $15 again, and it will automatically be extended for another 7 days. For more information, drop by our store or visit our website at www.digicelbvi.com. Digicel terms and conditions apply.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're right back with the Speak Your Mind show. And the numbers are up there, 300-1949 for calls and 300-1950 if you're texting. We have a couple of texts, so we're going to go to the text and then we're going to continue with the show. Let's see, one. It says, okay, that's it. It says, what happened to all the suggestions and ideas that come forth as a result of this show? You should make a monthly result and send to government so that they can know people's concerns. Well, I would like to assure that person that texts that these shows are recorded and they're played over, and I'm pretty sure that persons who have a special interest even register copies and take action. We're only the talk show hosts. Your suggestion is good, but we'll see how it works out. We'll see if it merits that type of action.
It sounded like a question I had today.
Okay.
Someone up to the east.
Okay.
And I said to the person, if you really, really follow a lot of the stuff that we talked about here on this show, and look at some of the complaints that are coming into this show, just look at some of the measures that the government is taking right after this show. If the person wants to be honest, you'll see that a lot of suggestions and changes are being, proposed even by government. So the show is good. It's a good idea to call and vent. It's a good idea to do it constructively, honestly, and be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're fair with your opinion, and then, the government have their own show every other Monday.
Exactly.
On ZBVI.
And
so you can always call them too, and voice your concern.
Yeah. Good evening, you're Speak Your Mind. Go right ahead, please.
Yes, hello, good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
Right.
Yeah, I normally watch your show, and it's quite informative, and I want to give you all guys good. You're doing a good job. Few concerns I have. Down by the college, a long time ago, a young lady died there,
Yes.
and people were talking about putting speed bump or having some sort of pavement for the youngsters to walk on.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of things that can be done, even though I know the country is going through a little financial difficulties. Things like that, I think that's just one thing that I think that they should look into. Putting something there, a sidewalk for the youth and them, when they come out from the college, they have somewhere they can stand up on and walk to the next side where the next part of the college where they do the boat and whatever. There's a crosswalk or something. Next issue, just a few things I see, with the prisons. I used to see prisoners coming out and doing work, back in the island where I come from, Trinidad.
Okay.
They have them cleaning up the roads, doing stuff, getting them working, and it's something I don't really see. I don't know if I could be wrong, but I don't really see some of the prisoners coming out and do work on the outside, and that's a thing that I think should be implemented. And next thing, the labor issue. And guys, you must know that St. Thomas is going through a real consequences now, the finances, and St. Croix.
Yes.
All these things are happening, so we have to take stock, I was talking to some expatriates the other night, and I was saying, right is right, and wrong is wrong. When are people voting a government? The government is for the people, and it's for the big islanders. So you cannot be vexed when the government is looking out for the people. There are tons of young people coming out from school, and they're unemployed. Now, the government needs, I don't know how they're going to do it, but they need to get these youth in transition to go through the transition of being trained. Somehow they need to be trained so they can get some of these jobs, because it's going to be a real problem to know that you're having all these young people and they don't have work for them. They cannot go and take up jobs because they're not trained. So some of the experts were saying, well, you can't come and take my job and you can't do it. It's impossible. But the government needs to foresee, okay, the hospital is going to be built. they need to foresee that we're going to need BV Islanders to come and take some of the jobs in hospitals, not bringing in tons of people. I mean, if you're bringing people, you need to have them somehow, the younger ones either go to school, go somewhere and get the training, and or if they decide to train some of them here, there needs to be a standard of certification that BV Islanders could be trained here and go anywhere in the world and work. Because when other people from other countries being trained, at least if they get trained to a certain standard and it's certified, it's recognized in the United States, recognized anyway, they can go anywhere and work. So I think that the people here, the government here has to look out for the people. I know a lot of people, expatriates, come here and they make a living and whatnot, and it's good, you know, but we have to strike a balance. Yes, the immigration is making money from expatriates because expatriates have to pay. Every time they go, they have to pay work permit, they have to pay for police record, they have to pay immigration, they have to pay. So they're making their contribution. They have to pay rent to BV Islanders who have apartments. So they're making their contribution. But on the other hand, you have young people coming up from school and they have no job. So it has to be a balance. Something has to be worked out where these youth, the government could see where we need employment, what is the skills that the country needs, and find a way to integrate these young people into these jobs. Otherwise, it's going to become worse. And you don't want to have a tourist country with crime, you know?
Exactly.
And stuff like this. So these are a few things that I hope the government to find ways to integrate the youngsters into the world of work and pick up some of these positions. Yes, you gotta look out for your people. I mean, you gotta have a level of patriotism to look out for your people. You gotta love your people. I mean, you're from here, and you know other people. Yes, they have their own views and whatnot, but if I am a guest in a home, I have to comply with the rules of being a guest at your home. If I behave a certain way in your home, and I'm disrespecting your home, I wouldn't like nobody to come in my home and disrespecting me. So I just have these few things that I hope that something materialize with Ministry of Education, Ministry of Labor, we work out for a smooth transition for the younger ones.
Your contribution is well received. I think you made some very strong points. The HLSCC issued we need a crosswalk. I am passionate like you. A young lady died there not so long ago. We need some kind of crosswalk. We need a bus shelter on the other side of the road. We need sidewalks. There's no sidewalks on that road as it is right now. And we need to pay attention to it because it's an issue. I think one of the issues that came out in the court case is that the area is a 40-mile-an-hour zone.
Okay.
And I see we have up some signs marked 20 miles an hour. And I also know from reading the traffic regulations, if you put up a speed limit, you must have a speed limit at the beginning of the speed limit and also a speed limit at the end of the speed limit. So you can't put up one sign. You have to put up at least two signs, because drivers like yourself and myself must know when the speed limit change.
Yeah, and they need to put a little adequate lighting down there.
It needs adequate lighting as well. That's another thing I was going to say.
This blue light that some people, I don't know if they get the picture, but it really blinds people driving on the road, and somebody going to get licked down. And I don't know if they have rules, or I don't know if that is illegal or what. But I drive in the other night and I coming down there and this blue light in my eyes, and I had to really literally look away to my left and look at the road on the side, focusing, because the light is very blinding. And if somebody walking on the side of the road and that light hit them, you can knock down somebody with that light. So I don't know if they're doing it for style, but it's something that has to be looked into.
I agree with you, but can you imagine the scenario where you're blinded by a blue light and you get in an accident, and then you have to explain that this blue light caused the accident, and the person that caused the accident is nowhere at the scene of the accident because they've already driven off. I think that is why I agree with you that we should look at it in a proactive way from now, and ask people in law enforcement to look into it.
Yeah, we don't want to always have something happening, then people looking into stuff, I think
exactly.
I think we're mature enough now in this society to know what is right, what is accepted, and what is the standard,
Yes, and I think I have to go along with my colleague here too, that since we have cameras up now, we don't have to continue to be guessing about what's happening on the streets. We can always review the DVD or whatever it is they have, and they have surveillance now.
Oh, well, that's a good on the government of the Virgin Islands to get these things implemented.
Yeah.
That you can actually keep monitoring certain places. Because even if you want to go, say you want to go into the ATM.
Yes.
Something happening with a rush in the ATM, you have to be watching your back.
Yes.
And looking to see if some criminal will come in and jump out at you.
Yeah.
And if it happens, at least you might say, well, it have monitors around.
Yes.
To actually see something, But gentlemen, I just want to say good night and thanks to you all. Stay patriotic. This is your country, and a better BVI is going to be always a plus.
Thank you very much for your contribution.
Okay, good night.
All right, good night. Yes, he also raised the issue about the prison, and I think we've had a call more than one time to say something about the situation at the prison. Personally, I think that the reason why you don't see, I may be wrong, someone may call and correct me, but I think we don't have that type of sentence anymore. You remember they used to have a sentence called hard labor? I don't think that we have, because of the way we have evolved, I don't think that we have hard labor. I think they have incarceration. So I think that's probably the reason why you don't see the people out there. We'll come back to that prison situation though. Good evening, you're free to speak your mind. Go right ahead, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm calling in connection. I'm working with a company in Virgin Garden.
Okay.
And they're supposed to pay us our vacation pay in December.
Okay.
But they sent us a letter in November, last week in November, telling us that they're going to pay us in a late date. Well, they went into later and they will give them up to March to pay this money, and up to now we nearly nothing concerning our vacation pay.
But
and when the 3 months off, if we're going to be past profit.
It sounds like somebody in the tourism industry. Hello?
Hello?
It sounds like a company in the tourism industry?
No, construction.
In the construction? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, once labor is involved and labor is assisting you, I think one of the things you have to do is you and the rest of the other employees have to keep a close contact with the person in labor who is assisting you, because remember that type of situation can change at any minute.
Yeah.
So you have to keep a close contact with them. I mean, whether you call them every other day or once a week or whatever it is, but you have to keep a very close contact with them, because judging from what you're saying, that's a situation that can either go good or bad at any time. So you really need to pay attention to what's happening with it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Labor issues are very complicated issues, and they also touch on personalities from time to time. And like you were saying earlier, we should really have some policies that without personality. You shouldn't make a policy based on the type of personalities that you have in place.
Should be across the board.
It should be able to work.
Enforceable.
It should be enforceable and able to work for anybody.
Yeah, but I want to say, right, to the gentleman I called, I think I know who that gentleman is, and he and I spoke already on some of the same issues he raised.
Okay.
For example, he may not, like he said, he probably wasn't aware, but they do have guys that go in and out of the prison.
Yes.
That do small, simple work.
I'm aware of that too.
Simple work.
Yeah,
so
I'm aware of
they
that
do
too.
have it, but I think he was expecting or looking for it more on a bigger scale.
But
the cleaning of the roads and certain things like that.
That brings me to another issue which I want to speak about as well, and that is where we have a number of people at Balsam got who never ever had a trial. So you wouldn't see those people out anywhere, because really, according to our constitution, that person is innocent until they're proven guilty. Okay, so they're being held, waiting a trial, or they may pending a trial, or they may be in the process of going through a trial. So you can't say that that person is a prisoner. Okay, so you see, it's a real chicken and an egg kind of situation. And it also brings me to another issue that I was planning to speak about one day too, and that is the fact that we have prisoners in other countries, and our government need to pay attention to that and make sure that their human rights are not being violated.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I don't think over the years we have seen it as something that is ours, that maybe we thought that the UK should do that. But I think that our government is responsible for every one of us in this country.
Absolutely.
We have a call. Yeah, good evening. You're speaking your mind. Go ahead,
Yeah,
please.
but you can speak your mind.
Yes, you're on. You're live.
Oh, sorry. Courtney, good night.
Good night, my dear.
Watched that show some time ago, your show, and there's a gentleman sitting next to you, and I don't know who he is. And for the entire night, I was, his name is familiar. I don't know him. I've been in this country for over 40 years. I look at the man, I don't know him, I don't know his name, he doesn't say who he is. I don't like talking to strangers. And I'm sure a lot of people must feel the same way. They don't know you, they don't want to speak to you.
Yeah.
We'd like his name to come up every now and again. That's how you talk, that's a code in the castle.
Okay.
To come up as well.
Okay.
But people know who he is.
Sam Henry.
Have a good night.
Okay, thank you. But Sam, you need to probably expound a little bit and.
Well, she said she's been here 40 years. She doesn't know who I am.
Yeah.
I'm a son of the soil. I'm born and raised in East End, Sound Road. So if you're familiar with Sound Road, that's where I was born and raised. My father's name was Soldier. That was his nickname. His first name was Paul Henry. He was from Antigua. So I'm just like a lot of you out there. I'm half BVI and half Antiguan. So, but I left the BVI when I was young. My mom thought I was getting in a little bit too much trouble here in the BVI, so she sent me away to New York City to try to help out. It worked. It helped a little bit. I'm back. I'm back. I've been in transportation and tourism business now for the past almost 12 years, and that's where I'm at right now. So I'm here sitting next to Courtney. Trying to keep this show alive. It's a good show. We recognize that people want to be able to express themselves. And this is a show. This is the #1 show to do that. If you got a main concern, that's what we're here for, to help facilitate that. So let us know what's on your mind. Courtney, the labor issue thing again. That caller again, he talked about something that we should really focus on, and the gentleman is from Trinidad.
Yes.
And we should elaborate a little bit on that. And he's probably somebody that has a family. He recognized that his contribution is what's is helping the BVI.
Yes.
But I want to make the point over and over and over and emphasize this more and more and more, that as the indigenous population grow from inside out, a lot of young people in this country who are productive, who are educating themselves, who want to have a real life, a real job, a real business opportunity, they also either have to build a house, or they're renting apartments, they're buying food, they're going to own a car, they're going to have to pay mortgage or pay a lease on a car.
Yeah.
So they're just as equally contributing to the economy like anyone else who's not from here. So I really don't want to hear people keep saying about expatriates only contributing to the economy. We all are. We all are needed. But I just want to say, without being rude to anyone out there, expatriate, if you leave tomorrow, there's somebody else waiting to fill the void, whether it's a BVI lander or another expatriate. So don't ever feel and stop going around with your chest push up and telling people if you leave, the guy that owns the apartment building is going to fall on his face. No, he's not. There's 400 people every year between high school and college coming out of school trying to move to the next stage in their life.
Sam,
So stop it.
We just missed a call, so we could ask that person to call back.
Call
please.
right back.
Yeah, call right back.
We appreciate the call. So
just missed a
you know
call.
the labor issue in this country, Courtney, has to be addressed. And I
Has to
want
be
to say
addressed.
to that call again, the Minister for Education made a statement recently that some of the things that he's going to try to be doing is matching training with the demand for the economy.
Okay.
And I think that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish we had that 20 years ago.
Well, I made a note here so about youth and work, right? And it said at least 250 going to be coming out of the high school system, and another 200 from HLSCC.
So 400 plus
So
people.
we're gonna have, and there must be some way, some planned way, some organized way of integrating these people into the society.
Courtney is a percentage of those people, whether it's 10%, 20%, 30%.
Yeah.
We hear the complaint, oh, BV Islanders don't want to do anything. There's a percentage of that.
Yeah.
But there's also another percentage of people who want to do something.
Yeah.
They want to have a productive and meaningful life. And guess what? This is their home.
Yeah.
This is their home. And you know what's even tricky about the whole thing is a lot of those young people or kids to expatriates.
Yeah.
So those same expats now are also asking, what about the rights of my child who's a BV Islander?
Yes.
So what are they saying also? Some of them are saying, hey, close the gate because you're flooding the place too much. It's too much of me now here in the country,
Yeah.
and even me gonna suffer.
Yeah.
So the government have to look out for their people first.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about that. I mean, how
You need to
else?
put your people
Why even
first.
put an argument towards that?
Yeah.
You got to look at your people first and see what you can do to help your own.
Yeah, and Sam, tied to that too, I made a note. It says that we should have a classification needs study done from a government perspective. I'm not even touching the private sector at this point. I'm just talking about the government need. If we need 5 accountants, 10 surveyors, you know, let's go to the phone though. Yes, good evening. You've reached Speak Your Mind. Go right ahead, please.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good night.
Yes, good night. You're live.
I was coming up on one of them ferry from St. Thomas.
Okay.
And to my disappointment, they got into difficulty. And that ferry shut off in the middle of the ocean. It was the scariest time of my life when the waves have that ferry from side to side. And nobody cared to say anything. Nobody cared to tell me what the problem is.
Okay.
We didn't even call for help. We have a lot of tourists on board, and for those of you traveling for the first time on a ferry, I know it can be very frightening. Anyway, after a while, they told us, sorry, we were to get everybody, they were trying to get everybody to West End, but they don't have a steering. Luckily, another ferry were passing and helped us get to West End. When we reached, we got to stay there about an hour more because we got to wait on our luggage that is behind.
Okay.
Anyway, they get something to pull them to West End. I almost stranded in West End because I didn't even get money to take a taxi from West End.
Okay.
While waiting, we were telling others what happened. That's when they told us the owner for the ferry should know better because the night before they were only running on one engine. I didn't reach home in West End until about minutes to 10. So I'm encouraging the owners of the ferry not to think about money only, but spend some to service their boat. I would not like to experience that again. It can be very scary.
Well, thank you for that, and I'm glad that it has a happy ending to it, that everybody got home safely.
Everybody got home safe. The good Lord was with us.
Right, that's good to hear.
Okay.
But thank you for sharing it with us.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Well, That's
The ferry service should have been responsible for their transportation, though.
yeah,
You know, she shouldn't have to fork out money
yeah.
to take a taxi or catch a ride. You know, that's something that the system should be looking at.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's any policies in place to address specific things like that, but as things happen,
Yeah.
this is an opportunity now to put those things in perspective.
I know that with the airlines, I think with the airlines in some, either in Europe or somewhere in the States, they mandate that the airlines must take care of you, and if they don't, the airlines themselves have penalties that they have to pay. Sam, at this time, as usual, we've been asked to take a break for the sponsors of the show that make it possible, so we're going to take a break and we're going to be right back.
Hi, I am Tanisha Harrigan Scott, and I am here to bring you some exciting news from Digicel. Now you can talk more and text more for only $15. A great new price plan from Digicel, the bigger, better network. Have you heard? When you top up $15 or more, you get incredible deals with Digicel. Get 100 free minutes, unlimited SMS, and free weekends for 7 days to local Digicel numbers. Top up $15 again, and it will automatically be extended for another 7 days. For more information, drop by our store or visit our website at www.digicelbbi.com. Digicel terms and conditions apply.
Yes, good evening. We're back with you, the Speak Your Mind show. While we were on break, we got a couple of texts that came in, so I'm going to try and get to some of them so that we could get the people who are texting involved in the dialogue as well. It says 0303, disgust of that. I think that's the third of a series of texts that we got. 0203, Richard Holder is violating inmates' human and constitutional rights. Inmates can't get to pay medical and dental, and can't leave when they should. That's bad. And then I think it continues. British Virgin Islands in the U.S. have a very important question when the present government is going to put time and effort in our prison system. I've been told, Mr. And the text seems like it's being cut off all the time. It's a discuss of that. Good evening. I asked the Labor Department how many persons would a company need to start a pension plan, and they said 5. So why is it that some companies still have not started? Sam, I don't know if you would agree with me, but I think the way that thing is written is that it's not really clear as to how many people you need to start, number one. And for small companies, I think it's a challenge to get it up and going. So maybe
I think the labor code is definitely a burden on small businesses trying to implement a policy like that. So it definitely needs to be looked at.
And the other issue is I don't think there's any legislation governing what happens to the fund. And I think that maybe they should look at that right away to ensure that that money don't disappear. Because if I am your employer and you are my employee, and I take 4% of your money every month, and then at the end of the day I tell you, I don't know what happened to it. You might look to get physical with me. So
it won't be happening with me. If you're taking it out, they got to show me some kind of documentation.
Hi, good night, good show. Sam, big up to you, Mr. Ed. Welcome to the I Do Club. I just want to find out why the traffic department licensed these vehicles with these blue headlamps. It is not right. those vehicles coming under your bumper, spotlights and eyes. I think the police stopping you for tint. What about these blue headlights? What goes on, what's good for one, good for all? Let the police do the right thing. So that's someone that's texting and saying that they think that the licensing department and the police should make a difference as far as the lights are concerned. Why are you willing to destroy the goose that lays the golden eggs? I'm not sure what that person is talking about, but that's one of the things. Yeah. Hello, guys. When the government will build affordable housing complex so that those of us who cannot pay people's mortgages would have a home. The rent is ridiculous. Everything is going up except the paycheck. That's someone that's speaking for affordable housing. I think maybe one of the things that should happen is we should probably have a department that deals with housing, and then you could go from there to housing loans, and then from housing loans to billing affordable housing. But that's something I guess we could have a whole show on, Sam. Thank you, Sam. You are right on track. That's a good punch there for you, Sam. After warnings and write-ups of an employee, Labor Department should call in the employee and consult them. Don't wait for termination to investigate. Now, that may sound good, but I think that may be a difficult thing to do. You only have a limited number of inspectors, but you have a lot of employees. We're going to go back to that, but we have a call, so we're going to take the call. Good evening. You've reached Speak Your Mind. Go right ahead, please.
Good night. How are you doing?
Good night. I'm doing fine. And yourself?
You know, I don't call it your regular, but I got to call and talk to you this question.
Okay.
You know, just saying something about the pension scheme.
Yes.
The question I need to ask you. Anybody ever really sit down and study how dangerous this scheme is? I'm not saying it's a bad scheme.
Yeah.
But it's a very dangerous scheme.
Okay.
Let me tell you what I'm getting at. I'm a general contractor.
Yes.
I want you to be careful. I've been paying taxes for the workers. Because you know, you say to it, you take some, you pay some.
Yes.
And you pay more than half. Social Security.
Yes.
You take some, you pay some, more than half.
Yes.
You're coming up with National Health Insurance. They're going to tell you, you take some, you pay some. Pension scheme, you take some, you pay some. You deal with four things.
Yes.
One of the problems that I look at coming out of this, and people taking this thing to make a joke out of it, it's a very dangerous scheme because, you know, the contractor or the businessman got all this take some, pay some, take some, pay some. So what is this telling me? That if I got a man working for me and I pay $80 a day, he's stuck with $80 a day. You know why? More money I pay, more I take from me, more I pay, costing me money. How am I going to recover my money, what I've been paying to these people? Put it this way, Rota Wholesale, that's hundreds of people working. You think when Rota Wholesale take 5 cents from you, your pension scheme is going free? No, they're going to put it on a bag of rice, a bag of flour, a can of milk.
Exactly. It's an expense. It's a business expense.
It's a business. The small man who's working for me, he can't build a house no more because I'm taking more from him.
That's true.
I can't survive because I pay more. So why you paying a man? You paying a man to save his money for him? Why can't they take the National Health Insurance and add 2 cents for it and put it to Social Security? Now you will tell me I got to pay pension for a man where I ain't getting an outer. Look at what the greater monopoly here. With his business, look at the fuel price that we're paying. Nobody can tell me The price of fuel ain't double, but we paying triple by the electric corporation. Nobody ain't dealing with the situation. So we get all out.
While you're on that,
All the time the fuel.
while you're on that topic, I checked one of the pumps today, and it's $4.87 for a gallon of regular. So we really that is more than 20 cents over the last 2 weeks.
So tell me what the electric company charging us. We don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody never tell me how much fuel the electric corporation want a month. They need to tell the public that.
They need to tell the public.
So that we will feel happy.
They need to tell the public that, and they need to tell the public how much the fuel variation is.
All right. They need to tell us whether we're getting bad fuel or not.
Yeah.
Somebody telling it, nobody knows.
Carla, let me ask you a question. Are you a member of the BVICCHA?
What?
Are you a member of the BVICCHA?
I'm a member of me.
The Hotel and Commerce.
No.
No, okay.
I
Okay.
run a construction company.
Okay. I
I
think,
am not getting the hotel and commerce. I'm not getting involved in that.
well, they represent commerce. They represent
I
businesses.
know all that.
So I think, and the only reason I asked you that is not to put you on a hot seat, but what I'm getting at is that they have a new board, and one of the things that the board is going to be focusing on is this new labor code. And somebody like you that have the voice that you have, the concern and the vision that you have, the things that you see that are wrong, you would be somebody that would be perfect to help guide those guys and advise them.
Pardon, let me tell you something. You want to see me dead? Let me go on one of the boats. You know how the system corrupt. I got my grandchildren to deal with. I don't say what I gotta say. And I know that they're going to penalize me. When they say that I don't get penalized on time. So you know where was it? I didn't make up my mind when we come.
But you made a good point about the pension though, because I think a lot of people don't realize how serious it is that you're collecting monies from persons and you're putting money with it, and the whole point is you should invest that money to make sure that you get that same money or more when you get to 2020.
The point about the whole situation, where this money is coming from. Cody, let me ask you a question. You as an engineer, I know you quite well, you know about construction. If
Architect.
you want me to get a house for you, how am I going to tie this thing into the cost of your job?
You're going to have to add it on.
Yeah, but you're dead. How do you get a house bill?
You're gonna have
These are the
to.
point I'm trying to get to.
I'm gonna have to build a smaller house.
I don't build none at all.
Or don't build none at all. Exactly.
Let me show you something again that I need to talk about. Don't be with me for a second. There is a program here now where the government comes with the youngsters.
Yes.
It's a very good program.
Okay.
But let me show you something as an example. How are we going to go? I'm willing to take 3.
Okay.
But let me tell you what happened. Some representatives got to bring them 3 to me. You know why?
Yeah, I know why. When they don't show up to work, you want to carry them back to the representative.
But when we tell the place, when they know the rules, instruct the representative boss, you're coming to work 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And the first thing I ask you, what do you want? If I run to me around, you want to be a carpenter, a nurse, a laborer, a steel bender?
But
Tell me. I personally will take my own money and buy food for you.
But Carla, you're speaking about a system that was in place here before, the apprenticeship system. We've seemed to lose it.
This is what these people fail to understand. And I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, you can't smoke on the job. You're coming to work 7 o'clock in the morning. You're taking 9 o'clock break, 9:15. You take your lunch 12 o'clock, you come at work 1 o'clock. Be there. Don't waste my time and my money.
So I got another question for you. Since the minister been trying to get this program off the ground, have you attended any of the meeting and offered those opportunities to any of the youngsters out there who might be willing and ready to come on the job site on the appropriate time, don't smoke, willing to learn a trade and will accept? Have you? So you haven't offered anything yet? So you're saying it, but you haven't done it?
You're saying,
Well, them understand. I know for sure the reason why I say tonight. Let me show you something when I get that. The government against gives them penny contract only for 2 weeks.
Because what?
Only for 2 weeks. Then penny contract only lasts in 2 weeks. If I take 3 of them, it wouldn't be for 2 weeks.
I understand your point.
Well, take one for a year, but you haven't offered any. That's my point.
Just still running from the point. I said, if I take 2 or 3 of them, it would not be for 2 weeks.
He's saying
Okay.
it's going to take them for a longer period of time.
Well, again, there's young people, they're looking for opportunity more than 2 weeks. So I'm asking you, have you offered any chance yet, any opportunity?
Listen to me, boss.
Have you stretched out your hand and have you called the Minister of Communication and Work or the Minister of Education and say, I have an opportunity? Have you done that yet?
Is it right? I don't care reach out to you. You want to tell me why I said it tonight? You're not reaching out?
No, I hear you know. I sat and I listened to you carefully. You mentioned that the Minister of Education have this program. That program was a few weeks ago. And several prospective employers have already come forward and offered. Hold on. Hold on. I've listened to you. I've listened. Hold on. You see, that's the problem we're having. I listen to you. You're not listening to me. You haven't offered. Period. That's what you're telling me. And others have offered an opportunity, and there's apprenticeship programs going on right now because other employers have already given some of those young people an opportunity. You haven't. Why haven't you?
Let me tell you something, boss. I gave this opportunity years ago, and nobody.
We're talking about now. Years ago was fine, you helped somebody. Now today we're in a crisis.
Let me ask you a question. You want to tell me why you just say, and I just said on another talk show, is that reaching out?
It's reaching out to us. It's reaching out to those who are listening.
That the minister don't listen?
Well,
You want to tell me nobody don't listen? I don't bet you tomorrow morning every minister know what I say.
well, this is what I think we need. We need a society of people like yourself who have opportunity to reach out to the young people. Because that's how a lot of our young people got to the point where they're at now. Somebody just didn't sit back and say, well, the minister should find me. Why don't you reach out? Reach out to some young people in your neighborhood that you think has some potential and give them an opportunity. Don't sit back. Your excuse is that they should reach out to you. Why don't you reach out to them?
You just said you're not reaching out?
No, you're not reaching out. Call the minister tomorrow. If you don't have his number, take my number now and I'll get you his number. 541-1281, and I'll get you the number and the email for the Minister of Education so you can reach out to him personally because he's trying. You're not trying. You said several times you're sitting back and you're waiting for them to contact you. I'm not trying to be argumentative, but that's what you said. So try the different way now.
Don't tell me that.
Try the different way. Try the other way now. Call the minister, call the department, and tell them you're willing to accept 2 people tomorrow.
How much you take?
I got 1.
Okay, well, we'll take 2, I take 4.
I'll take as many as I can afford to take. I only can afford 1 right now. You can afford 3. So call and get 3.
You want to get a joke?
Yeah.
If we send me, say, okay, they take 15, send them by the Marines. They last a week. I ain't want that.
All right, Carter. Thank you very
We
much.
appreciate you, though. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, we got some good input from him there, but I guess he wasn't ready to make that final commitment. We had a couple of texts while that phone call was going on, so let's see if we could get to them real quickly. It's a good night. These people that are collecting 96,000, 90,000, and 86,000 should not have been hired because they were not successful in the elections, because the people that did the petty contract up to now can't get paid, and they're paying these people. That's a concern that I've heard raised before. It says that the people who have outstanding contracts with government, they're not being paid. And I don't know if that's a policy, but I think if someone would address it, I think everybody would be more comfortable. most of the BVI house owners depend on foreigners to rent their houses to meet their mortgage payments. School leavers will not bail them out. So rethink your position. I think you explained that before.
Well, I mean, let me explain it again. Currently, we have a number of people who are studying abroad.
Yeah.
We have a number of people who are here who are not going to go anywhere. They're going to get their little jobs. They're going to become independents. They're going to need a place to live because
Of
mom
course.
and dad ain't going to want them. And guess what they're going to want to do? They're going to want to rent an apartment.
And we also have people coming back with professional degrees. Where they going to live?
Where they going to live?
Where they going to live?
Somebody going to have to pay it.
Too much nonsense going on in the hotel industries. Minimum wage still going on. That's a text that came in. Good night. I am a young lady who wants to get a BVI license. I am not from here, but I grew up in Tatola, so I have work permit exemption. Do I have to go through the same thing as people with work permit? I don't know. You know about that? If you have an exemption, you shouldn't, right?
What kind of license is she trying to get?
It's probably a driver's license. Yeah.
No, anybody can get a driver's license. She's on work permit exempt, so she's not
Hi,
scrutinized
Sam.
the same.
Hi, Courtney. You both are really doing well. Sam, you were excellent the night when you were on alone. 3. Oh, okay. Say you were excellent when you're on alone. Where is government? We have a call, so we're going to take the call. Good evening. You're speaking mind. Go right ahead, please.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
How are you guys doing this evening?
We're doing fine. You're getting a little feedback with your television, though.
Yes, I got to talk to you there. Yes, my concern is the situation with the labor.
Okay.
They're saying the permit is not issuing. It's taking previously months and months before you get a permit to be issued back to employees. Some of the employees have to go to immigration to get fines. Every time you have to go to immigration, you have to find a $25 fee to get extension time for some of the employees.
Yes.
What is the process going with labor concerning the work permit? If you guys have any idea what's going on?
Haven't got a clue. But what we've been speaking about is the fact that they tie the work permit and the driver's license together, where if you don't have you only could get a driver's license for the length of time that you have on your work permit. And I think you're speaking to the issue that they should also have the two departments work together in the interest of what happened to customer service. I agree with you. What happened to looking at the needs of the people who you are servicing?
Yes, because sir, if you look at it, right, if they don't want to issue a work permit or don't want an island person to come into the BVI, right, what's going to happen to all the buildings with the mortgages and everything that people have to pay every year or every year? I don't know how they do it.
Well, I think that that is one of the issues, but more an issue to me is if you have people here on island already in a situation that you're describing, good business sense says that you should take care of your customers, and I see persons like yourself as being a customer, and if you're a customer, you should, these things should be processed in a timely manner, and you should be treated like a customer and not like an adversary.
You have to look up to your country. Years that things are getting difficult. Kids are coming out of school, needing jobs. Yes, you have to look out for them, but at the same time, you still have to look at the other concern of people who is on the island, who's supporting the island day to day, paying the bills, doing everything. Yes, some of the money is going out to their home country, but at the same time, it's still relocating back on the island.
That's an important point as well. But you bring me to an issue that someone brought to my attention just the other day, though. There's some jobs. I'm going to name a few for you that I don't know if it might get some people upset, but there's some jobs, waitering jobs, bartending jobs, front desk jobs, the what you call it, the receptionist jobs. These type of jobs, I mean, to bring people from Asia or from Africa or from somewhere else in the Caribbean to do these types of jobs, and you have persons here trained to do those jobs. I think that's really a big stretch to me, you know.
Yes, you are right in a sense, sir, but you have to look at it. Some of the people would not want to do any particular job.
Some of the 400.
Yeah, some of the 400, some of the kids that are looking that their friends in the office working, they want to stay in positions to just jump in the office seat.
While you're on that topic, I'd like to remind you though that construction industry is one of the higher paying jobs in the territory, and
Yes, it is.
yet we just had the Women's Day on the 8th, and you can count the number of women in the construction industry on one hand. So you know, it's good to speak about labor issues and about equity and about who should have preference for jobs and that kind of stuff. But obviously, it's clearly a government decision. It has to be a government decision because the government is representing the people of the country.
Yeah, that's right. You know, but at the same time, the country yet has to look out for people and its well-being. But
Definitely.
they still have to do something for people who is supporting the Virgin Islands.
Definitely, I agree with you.
You know, yes, you have your first priority is the people from here.
Yes.
Right, that's your first priority. You have to look out for them who's going to start the next future for the island.
Yes, sir.
Right? You have to look so that people are working, bringing in income, and recycling the money back into bills for paying your mortgages.
That's
the island much better.
That's a good point you're making, but don't forget that government is also benefiting from it because you have to pay taxes.
Yes, you have to pay your tax and everything.
Yeah.
You know, but thank you very much for your gentlemen for your time. But the same labor issue, something needs to be looked into it.
I totally agree with you.
All right.
Thank you very much. Sam, we've reached that time in the show again where we have to take a break for these sponsors that make the show possible. So we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Hi, I am Tanisha Harrigan Scott, and I am here to bring you some exciting news from Digicel. Now you can talk more and text more for only $15. A great new price plan from Digicel, the bigger, better network. Have you heard? When you top up $15 or more, you get incredible deals with Digicel. Get 100 free minutes, unlimited SMS, and free weekends for 7 days to local Digicel numbers. Top up $15 again, and it will automatically be extended for another 7 days. For more information, drop by our store or visit our website at www.digicelbbi.com. Digicel terms and conditions apply.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're right back with you. You know, this is the Speaking Mind Show, and you know, this is the People Show. And we're right here back with you. Before we leave, we were discussing some of the labor issues, and we were talking about the young people and trying to get some of the young people back in employment. But one of the issues too with the young people is that the use of their cell phone on the job. Some of them, you know, they come to work and they have the plug in the ear, and they use their phone while on a job, and it's a turn off to some employers. So I'd like to tell all young people out there when they're going to these jobs, maybe they should leave their cell phone home or turn them off, you know, while they're on people's job. Turn it to a point where they could only receive information rather than, you know, communicating on people's job, and they should dress appropriately as well.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you have to look the role if you're going to be acting the role. Good evening, you've reached Speaking Mind. Go right ahead, please. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, you're live. Go right ahead.
Good night.
Good night.
I is my family. I is from Guyana.
Okay.
But Mr. People in shame from the picnic that could already Dr. Payne's claiming that something that if you don't have a job here and your boss don't have a job for you, that you mustn't get 3 months to get time that look for another job. Come on. If a man in 25 years, the company closed down for 25 years. You sold the company and the company shut. You can't tell he can't wait 3 months. Where you going?
Well, apparently you're speaking about a policy that I don't know about. So I'll have to.
It company, we said somebody must wait for time for 3 months because you want to take somebody else's job.
Well, if that's what he says, if that's the policy that they have in place, that's the policy they have in place.
One man spend 25 years into that solo. When you get I just tell you, and he got to go home because he wants to take somebody else's job. But the company closed, the company that he thought that he wants to take somebody's job.
Well, first of all, if you have a situation where the company closed, then that should be a situation where you should be receiving some kind of gratuity or servant's pay or some kind of closeout agreement with the company. That's what I think. And if that is not the case, I think that all of you who are in that same situation should go to the Labor Department and state your case. And that is something that we fail to do. We leave it up to other people like the government or somebody else to do something like that. But I don't think you could afford to do that.
It's happened when you can't put the boy who had spent 11, 12, 13 years on this swinging. It's happened in Sydney. We claim it's truth. But what about we spend all the time in the tool, you can't do that thing.
So Carla, what you're saying is that if you spend a certain amount of time in the BVI, you've been working, you've been contributing. You're saying based on the contract that you've had, that you signed when you first came, that should go out the window, that the moral part of it should come into play, that you should be allowed to sit around and wait until you can get a job, or basically you're saying you want to stay, you don't want to leave.
No, listen, there's nothing. He said, it's truth. The boss man, your people don't get it, you want to get the better. So you wait to take somebody's job, you think a deal is a point. But you gotta do something about it, because not me, I want to leave, I need the job. You want the situation.
But I think it's two separate issues there, you know. I think the one issue is that we have a number of persons who are coming into the workforce for the first time, and we have to make sure that there are positions there for these people to come in for the first time. And the other issue is that if you're here working for a long period of time, then you should have some kind of status. And I think maybe that is something that the government need to look into. We have a similar situation like that in government where we have people working for 20 years temporary. You imagine being temporary for 20 years?
Are you going to fire them?
But we need to look at these labor issues, all of them, and correct them.
I understand this. You thank God at least look into it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for your call.
Okay, all right.
All right. Bye. Yeah, Sam, you know, we have people, who they have a temporary arrangement. Temporary arrangement for 1 year or 2 years, I could understand. But when you start talking about temporary for 15 years or temporary for 20 years, that means that there's a problem. There's a problem with the system that we're using, and we need to correct it. And having persons on, in certain work conditions temporarily for 20 years is unheard of, I think. We should be able to do better than that. We have a couple of texts that come in. We're going to be looking at those, and then Sam, we're going to be trying to wrap up. These people need to stop calling, making it look like BVI landers don't want to do these jobs. We are willing to help build our country too. Too much expatriates here, making it difficult for us to find jobs. Fire department discriminate when it comes to hiring women. This issue needs addressing. I am not sure if that may be correct, because I know in the fire department there's a weight requirement, and some women may not be able to pass the weight requirement. There's a weight requirement where you have to be able to lift and travel with a person for a certain distance. So I don't know if that's really a fair thing. Good night, good evening, gentlemen. About the new work permit thing. Is it for black only? Because Barris Creek getting new permit for a lot of white people. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to dwell into that really. Courtney, Minister Myron needs to take one of those BV Islanders at the front desk at Prospect and our hotel. Only not one BV Islander person there. That's a comment for one of our ministers. Good evening. About the work permit. Oh, we got a text already. I have a young guy. I gave a young guy a ride. He said he is going to an interview. I said to him, be sure you turn your cell phone off. He said he can't do that. I said to myself, he can't work for me. Well, you see, that this is one of the issues I was talking about, Sam, that, you know, there's culture and there's culture. If your culture is that you have to be on your phone 24/7, it's very likely you may not be able to work for a lot of people, you know, because communication on a job is very important. How is your employer going to tell you what to do if you're going to be on the phone while he's trying to give you instructions? Or, you know, there's some jobs where you have to be focused on what you're doing. How are you going to be focused on what you're doing if you're going to be communicating on your own?
Courtney, all I can say is this. There's a culture of behavior that definitely needs to be addressed in the BVI when it comes to BVI Islanders, young BVI Islanders. I think personally, and I'm serious about this, I think personally, Myron recognized that. The government, Honorable Myron recognized that, and the entire government body recognized that. And I think they're trying to address that. No, it's something that must be a long process,
and it should have been addressed a long time ago.
And we're starting it now.
Yeah, but I agree with you that some of these things, if we had started, in hindsight now, if we had started a long time before, we would have been further ahead.
Well, the people who were running the show at the time obviously didn't put anything in perspective, they didn't put anything in place to address it head on. Now we have. Where we're going to be, Courtney, 5 years from now, is that hopefully we'll have a situation where we create positions and opportunities for our own, our young people. And you know, the negative talk, the negative approach to our young people, they don't want to work, guess what? They do.
Good evening, you're free speaking, man. Go ahead, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, big man. Well, I got a small problem.
Okay.
Yeah, and me problem. Talking about labor. Yeah, well, I work in Bobby for quite a while. You understand? About 7 years now. And at one time, this man just started up nasty, man. You understand? It is getting into like a month and 2 weeks when I get big. And we go out by labor, trying to talk with them, nobody in anything. You understand? That is a problem because we get run with this, we get things to do. But then I think this labor thing, the man should do something about that. Go over there and say something. You understand?
Yes, I understand. These are some of the difficult issues with labor, but you're correct. They should do something about it.
Because
that is one of the reasons why I was saying that these departments that we're talking about, a lot of them should have a consumer area. An area that deals specifically with issues like the one you were talking about, not to go in there and to make an appointment to see the labor commissioner, but there should be a customer desk where you can go to and get resolution of these types of things, and someone who would call you back on a regular basis to find out if the situation has improved?
Yeah, because so long we don't get paid. And this man still want to push around like you see them, he paying, and that is a problem. You understand? That is too long.
I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, he moving like he in key. You understand? He running his business, get we working, and we ain't collecting no money. Yeah? Everybody complaining. You understand? The hard.
Okay.
Yeah, real hard, man. We working too hard, and we ain't collecting no money.
Wait,
Somebody ain't paying no whatever.
I think you should take it back to labor.
But the labor ain't doing nothing.
Protest. Walk off the job. Walk off the job. Do what the pilots that they do. Call sick out. Huh?
Walk off the job. A problem is still.
Well, you have to make a stand. Either way, you're working and you ain't being paid.
Yeah, but we labor is for.
Labor's there to facilitate your complaints, but labor don't have anything in place to force their hand.
Yeah.
You still have to take a stand. You and the rest of the employees, they have to take a stand. If nobody ain't cashing Bobby's money tomorrow, Bobby gonna be up creek, and he can't go hire people off the street because everything still have to go through labor. And labor can't send people over there to fill in for you guys because you're protesting not being paid. At least then the government will take a stand and have to make a decision.
Yeah, man. Serious. Me like them to do something, man. Because it's hard. Hard, really hard. You understand? And you know, sometimes you try to move out and try to get a different job. Then you talk about a bad thing or send you to the country or the stupidness. You understand? So then, boy, me like the labor then coming on to something. Like real hard. You understand? Yeah, serious. Okay then.
All right, thank you for your call. Yeah. We have to wrap up on the show now, Sam, you know, because we've gotten to that point in the show, the point that we like. But one last thing we're going to look at, we're going to just put a glimpse up here of the one issue that's most prominent, and this is the Beef Island expansion, one of the versions of the Beef Island expansion. We don't have enough time to talk about it tonight, right? But we're going to push it a bit more on the next show, and we're going to talk about it. This is a version of a possible expansion of the Beef Island Airport. Of course, this is in talking about the airlift situation and the fact that we have to do something with the airport situation or the airlift. I prefer to talk about the airlift situation because it is like that. It could be the airport, or it could be the type of plane. It could be a number of different things. But the quicker people start talking about it and start making it an issue, I think it would be the better for the whole country. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, okay, we have to wrap up now then, Sam, because we have to get going. So we were able to talk about some airport issues, the traffic issues. We were able to get in some of that. We understand what's happening with the work permit and the driver's license issue. The HLSCC, the roadway, we talked about the crosswalk, possible bus shelter, sidewalks, lighting. The prison, we talk about having prisoners in other countries and that our government should look out for them. We talk about the situation at the current prison, and I was saying that I am of the opinion that one of the reasons why we don't see prisoners out is because of two reasons. One, the type of sentences that they get don't permit it, and that's my opinion. And the other part was that some of the people who are in prison here, they haven't really started to serve any sentence yet because some of these court cases are taking 3-4 years to get resolved. So by that alone, you know, the person isn't really in a position to be doing, you know, to be carrying out a sentence because they're still only in jail. Young people and work, we talked about the fact that we have to find a balance. You know, we have to come to some balance with these young people and work, and we talked about you know, the possibility of people coming out of high school and out of college in the next few months. And we should have a structured way for them to be integrated into the workforce rather than a haphazard way. You know, whether or not you get a job or not. You know, we should have a structured idea of integrating them in, and then see if that works. That might work. You know, We talk about employees and how they, this whole issue about people not wanting to walk and the fact that maybe they should dress properly and turn off their cell phones and do some preparation before going to look for a job and that kind of stuff. I did mention that we should have a job classification needs assessment done to know what types of jobs are out there that are needed, so that some of our young people could try and train themselves in these areas so they'll be more marketable in the workplace, right? The gas prices, I spoke about that. I think we're somewhere up at $4.87 now a gallon. And while I was thinking about that, Sam, I don't understand why the gas stations that we have don't put a big sign up by the gas station saying what the price of gas is. You don't know the price of gas unless you go with a microscope and look at the pump. There's no big sign that says, well, my gas is such and such a price. It's also a selling point for them. Because it gives the idea that that's what the gas is being. So the gas or the diesel. I forget some of you guys run on diesel. We heard about an incident with a ferry boat, but we're glad that it came to no problem. And we were able to talk a bit about the airport expansion. We had a number of texts and we had a number of calls, and we had a pretty good show, Sam. I think you have any last words to add before we...
Just real quick, I just want to, tell the folks out there to try to encourage our youths them to participate in the economy, participate in trying to live fair. I mean, a lot of you that have opportunity, rather than sitting back and waiting for someone to contact you, contact the government. I mean, the government is trying. I really believe they're trying. I see a lot of good things going in place, and it's a positive type of environment they're trying to create and spin, and that's what we need. We need a culture of encouragement. We need a culture of practice. Everybody knows there's a deficiency in our youths them to really, the new ones them, the young ones them I'm talking about, because what they needed they weren't getting. And right now we have a system where we're trying to bring that back. Build morale, build work ethics, good practice, good behavior, all of those things. So you keep encouraging the youth. Don't discourage them. Stop saying that they don't want to work. You got 5 people in a room, 3 of them want to work. They want opportunity. Yes, there's always going to be 1 or 2 that are sitting on the side say they ain't going to do nothing. But that's not the whole barrel. The whole barrel, half of them is saying, I want an opportunity, and we got to provide opportunity for our youths of this country. And again, a lot of these youths that we're talking about, that I'm talking about, they belong to a lot of you expats. And you want to see your child, with fair and equal opportunity, just like I do, I want to see my child. So stop saying the youths them don't want to do anything, because sometimes you could be talking about your own child. So encourage them to do things, rather than keep saying they don't want to do anything. So the system has to work. It has to work for the people who belong to this country, because that's who's going to take it forward in the future, not the folks coming from outside. We appreciate everybody coming from outside, but the same thing that you have to do if you ain't from here is the same thing I have to do who is from here. I got to eat, I got to live, I got to pay bills. I live in an apartment. I wasn't born with no silver spoon. I'm going to keep saying it. And there's a lot of people like me who aren't born with no silver spoon, and we got to go out there and hustle and work to do the same thing you're doing. So we all are contributing equally. So stop saying that you're paying somebody's mortgage. You ain't paying nobody's mortgage more than I am paying somebody's mortgage. So we all are doing the same thing. I go to the supermarket and I got to deal with the same thing you got to deal with, high prices, and I find a way where I can save. So together we got to build this country. If you're in this country, you ain't from the country, say the right thing, spin the right way, be positive, encourage our youths them to be a part of a growing and positive environment. That's really all I have to say. So folks, join us next week. Godspell Life, we're going to be right here where we're going to again facilitate your concerns, your comments. If you felt offended by anything I said tonight, I apologize. I'm not here to offend nobody, but I'm simply here to try to draw the best out of all of us. Right. We all have concerns. I have concerns even though I host this show, co-host this show. So I'm just like you. I have an opinion too. So, welcome back.
Well, Sam, thanks for that. But one of the things I had promised to look into was the $10 fee to come into the territory. But we'll try and work on that for the next week. But it is a concern. If we have new fees, I think we need to come forward and tell people that we have these new fees. You shouldn't discover at the airport that you have to pay extra $10 to come into the territory. But all in all, we had a very good show, and I'd really like to thank the people that text and the people that called in. And as usual, this is the People's Show, and we'll be here for you next week, Saturday. So on that note, I'd like to say God bless these Virgin Islands and the people that live in it, and have a good week, and we'll see you again next week.